where the badger not only starts, but that's where it happens. And for most of us, some of us, it also ends there. We need to speak up more pertaining to domestic violence. And when I say we, I mean the community leaders, the political candidates, the pastors, teachers, and leaders who we entrust our lives with and to, even to the school teachers, principals. But so many times the conversation is not being spoken because a lot of times those persons are the abusers. And we sweep things under the rug and we hope and pray that one day it'll get better or it'll work itself out. But as we know with anything else, nothing works out unless you put the work in it. And that's why I'm here speaking out loud. August, Friday the 13th, 2021, approximately 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I almost lost my life due to domestic violence. But yet, I come outside smiling every day as if it never happened. I smile and I make sure I encourage everybody that I see. But even with that, I am finding that I have lived a lie for many years. And it didn't just start with this particular person, meaning my husband. It didn't just start 23 years ago when we came together and found that we thought we were soulmates. And I still believe that we are. It started years ago when I started accepting domestic violence as a way of life. And for too long, we as a society, we make people believe that it's a way of life, and it's not until someone gets hurt or killed. Now it's everybody's problem for a moment. What about the children that's left behind from that domestic violence situation? What about the parents or the even the spouses that survived those who are no longer here due to domestic violence? What are we doing to stop the madness? Do you know that South Carolina is the #1 state in the US of A for domestic violence most murders? South Carolina. And with North Charleston being one of the largest, #1 biggest cities with the most gun violence, what do you think the answer is to the most city of domestic violence? That's right, you got it. We are on the top of the list. However, everybody come to the holy city expecting to put the young man that gunned down the Emmanuel 9. We expect for us to deal with that matter. Even he came from a long line of domestic violence that brought him to the point of why he even did what he did. This is a child that killed 9 great people of this society that has impacted Charleston County, South Carolina, the whole world. It has impacted the whole entire world. Mr. Dylan Roof did not get to that point just when he walked into that church. We have to get back to speaking out on things, not shutting people down, making them feel like they are less than or better than because of what they possess or what they hold, what they can give you, what they can offer you. We got to get back to making people feel like they are the human being that they should be. And I find it not robbery that we rush the conversation of slavery under the map. Because you know why? Slavery is one of the biggest topics that we have ignored in Charleston, South Carolina, and in the South, that created a lot of the snowball effect of men feeling inferior, women feeling inferior to whatever slavery mentality that they are hiding behind. But guess what? There is a breakthrough moment, and that moment is now. It starts by conversations, speaking to your daughters, letting them know that they are beautiful in spite of what they may hear in the middle of the night, in spite of what they might witness even in the home. You are beautiful to your sons, to let them know that you are more than a conqueror, and you will overcome every situation that is given to you. It starts at home. Charity begins at home. We got to get back to the basic way of teaching our children and those who even come into our communities. Other children, bus drivers. You have a whole busload of children that you can speak a great word to. You don't have to preach to them. You don't have to teach them things that may be too much for you to teach. But one thing you can do is give them an encouraging word, even when you're broken. We are a broken society, going day by day, putting on this image that we live in perfect lives and addressing nothing that is helping no one. But yet, we get mad when Officer Slater shoot down my schoolmate. Walter Scott was a great man and a great person to know. But even in that moment, nobody's thinking, if this man gunned down this human being, I feel sorry for his wife or what he may be doing behind closed doors. Nobody's thinking about how that brokenness is not just affecting just the Scott's family. And believe me, nobody heard it more than the Scott's family. But that's not the whole problem. We're so busy in the limelight that we're not thinking about what's going on behind the closed doors. We have to get back, as I even heard the young lady spoke before I got on, getting back to the basics. And I smiled when I heard that, because over almost 20 years ago, my very first message as a pastor was getting back to the basic, the agape love of God. We do have to get back to the basics and find out what is it that we are missing in our society, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our homes. What are we forgetting? There's a lot that we have jumped over. There's a lot of hoops that we have jumped through. There are things that we have done and not do that has affected how we are thinking about ourselves. There's a lot that we are doing that we are not encouraging one another. There are many things that we can do to change the subject. And that's why today I am apologizing, because I know even for the last 23 years, I have come to the place of hiding my situation just to give everybody a smile everywhere I go, thinking that that smile would fix the problem. As bright as this smile may be, it's not fixing no one's problem. We are so conditioned over what we are teaching. Even on the jobs, I was a restaurant manager for 30 years, 30 plus years. And all we can think about is give the customer a smile and not realize how that person who comes to work every day puts on an apron, and how that person may be so confused over how they're going to get their next meal or how they're going to get back to work the next day. We are not even concerned over how that may be burdening that family every day. But yet, we make them hide behind a smile. I want to apologize to my congregation that I've fed for so many years. I want to apologize to each voter who have voted for me and entrusted me with my truth. I want to apologize for my children, my grandchildren. I want to apologize to my family. But more than that, I want to apologize to even my abusers. Because at one point or another, I should have recognized their brokenness. I should have recognized, what can we do to get you the help that you need? Because see, this thing called domestic violence, it's not just the abused person who is broken. It's also the abuser who's broken. What happened to that person in their lifetime that they never got the help they needed? That we just kept ignoring all the signs, and we just kept hoping that one day they'll get better. Afraid to say something because society teaches us to just live behind a smile. And if you speak to the wrong person, now you are the bad person. How did we get to this point? And I want to know, how do we fix it? What do we need to do to make this a conversation on a regular basis? How do we bring this to the forefront and not worry about stepping on anybody's toes? How do we set the image? I'm going to tell you how. Like I said, charity begins at home. If we start speaking truth within the four walls, and we teach them that no matter what is being taught outside the four walls, we're going to stand strong to the truth of who you should be as an individual and how you should be perceived by anyone who sees you. And if anyone disrespects you, to know how to kindly let them know that you are the queen or the king that you are. And that you are not below, but you are above, and you aren't to the place of being badgered, but yet you can still show love unconditionally in spite of. How do we get back to that place? It starts at home. Then it also starts where we entrust our children on a daily basis. We have to know that even in the schoolyards, they are being taught things to cause them to be broken. We need to change that. And we need to make sure that we're going to our children's school and supporting them more so that we can make sure that they are not being broken by other people who are broken. It's coming to the point where we got to get back to the basic way of doing things, where Big Mama would beat you as soon as you got off the school bus, waiting for your parents to come home to whip you again, and hopefully get to the point where the neighbors can start being that village. because we stopped the village. Because Susie Bell and Billy was just too good for the village to scorn. Now we're praying for the village to come running. We're praying for someone to come and help with what has happened. And God knows I was part of that village that didn't hear most of the cries. I was part of that village that didn't hear the cry because I too was crying inside. And to face your tears means I would have to face my own tears. What would somebody think of me if they knew that I was broken inside? What would people think about me if I had tears behind the smile? What would they think? Hopefully, they would think that person needs help. Hopefully, they would say, what can we do to help? But in order for the village to start being that village, the village itself needs healing. That's right. We got some broken people in the village, and that's what happened to the village. But it's something that we got to come back to the forefront. We got to start recognizing what it is that we have to do to bring that village back together, because we need that village to be strong for one another. And guess what? And I saw that village came to surface when I went through my stages of brokenness, when I brought my brokenness to the forefront. The village came running, and I did not even realize the village was still there. So you see, hiding behind the tears and hiding behind the smiles is only fooling yourself and no one else. We have to make sure that we speak more about domestic violence. So as a topic of my campaign, and as I speak out for my campaign, coming soon, I will be announcing that I will be running for County Council seat number 8. Because I believe that those of us who are in a political position can do a whole lot more to balance out the need of domestic violence just by speaking up against domestic violence, by finding solutions of what we need to do as a community to do more things for the community that's making people broken at home. A man not being able to get to work because he don't have the proper transportation to bring food home for his family and to work a job that he finds himself catching a ride to and for every day. A mother who can't feed her children because she can't get back and forth to her job or to the grocery store. Children who go to school wearing dirty clothes because the family can't afford to go to the laundromat and they have to do what they can to wash out the clothes on their hands. No, the society has become broken when the society has forgotten about those who could not make amends for themselves. Yes, as a political candidate, we need to be more concerned about what's causing family to be broken. We have to be more concerned over what we need to do to balance out the life in the homes of those in our region. If we don't start making a difference, then guess what? We're going to be a broken society for a very long time. If you have any questions or you would like to join forces with me, again, I'm Pastor Millicent Trey I. Middleton. And my telephone number is area code 954-825-8438. feel free to email me at millicent@middleton4org. That's millicent@middleton4u.org. My campaign will still run under the same name of Middleton for You. And you will be happy to find everything you need to learn about me on Middleton for You website. And that's www.middletonforyou.org. I'm happy to join forces with anyone who would like to stand in the battle with me as I speak out for domestic violence. Thank you.